Hey everyone, it's Stephanie. Today I wanted to share something that I have been reading into quite a bit and I thought was pretty interesting. So it is the concept of neutral thinking. And when I first heard this, I I kind of laughed at it and I was kind of like, isn't this common sense? It's a way that you just kind of go about your day-to-day life and think logically in a way. I was listening to an Ed Milet podcast and he had a speaker on there, and I will link it below, but they were talking about positive thinking, negative thinking, and neutral thinking. So with positive thinking, you're telling yourself that everything's going to be okay, everything's going to be fine. You're lifting yourself up. And it's really good in situations where if you're feeling down on yourself, or if you're just looking at things from a bad perspective, things that could potentially have a negative outcome if you let them. With negative thinking, they really emphasized how, yes, positive thinking is great and it can make you accomplish great things. It can, really do amazing things in your life. And with positive thinking, you can kind of push things to happen in your life with just positive thoughts, positive affirmations, and same with negative. But they really put an emphasis on negative thoughts and them really ruining your life, ruining your career, ruining really good things that could happen in your life. So for instance, that would be, oh, I'll never get through school, I'll never have my own business, I'm never going to be good enough, things like that. And you can actually talk yourself into not doing well, whether it's a test or a job interview or, buying a house, anything. You can talk yourself out of these things just like you can talk yourself into them with positive affirmations. So there is a median in between the positive affirmations and the negative affirmations, and that is neutral thinking. And it's just something that, I've questioned for like my whole life, just thinking, how do people go through life and just think logically? How do they not put emotions into what they're thinking? And I know that there's a difference between masculine and feminine energy, and masculine energy is sort of in a way the neutral thinking, and feminine energy can be more positive and negative when it comes to dealing with emotions. But there are circumstances that can be life or death, that can be the end all of whatever situation you're going through. And when we come to those situations, that's when we need neutral thinking. So recently been I've been struggling a lot with food, and I've talked about this in my last video. I've talked about this in a recent blog, that it's to the point where it's almost as bad as about a year and a half ago when I was dreaming of food, when I couldn't even sleep because the thoughts. I was so obsessed with food that's what consumed my whole life. I put food above everything in my life, every person, everything. And it was to the point where I would dream about it. I would think about it nonstop at work. It affected my, even driving during the day. I would zone out just thinking of, I ate too many calories at breakfast. I didn't work out enough. I need to go to the gym. I would go to the gym at midnight. It was just this awful, awful cycle. And being in a different environment has really drug me back into that cycle. And I've been really trying to pinpoint where this has come from, because I'm not any less happy. I'm super happy in my environment. I'm a lot less lonely not being by myself all the time while Hans was at work. And I don't like Koa's a lot happier here, and I don't know where these negative emotions are coming from. And at times I question if they are even negative emotions. Um, but for the past 2 days, I have really been conscious of my beliefs around food and how I react to food. A million thoughts can go through your head when you look at one piece of food. And I have really been able to be very intuitive with myself and think, okay, why am I not allowing myself to eat this piece of food? Why is even thinking about eating this piece of food making me sick to my stomach? And a lot of times, what I have, come up with is I'll look at food and I will think that has 500 calories. I already had 500 calories for breakfast. It's not even lunchtime. I'm going to throw off my whole meal schedule, or this has too many carbs, this has too much sugar. It's going to spike my insulin levels because it's not made of complex carbs. It's just simple carbs. And then I'm going to want more food. And, or this has too much fat. I've already had this much fat and I can't have any more. I'm going to make myself sick. It's these constant routine thoughts that go through my head that have been so conditioned into my thoughts that is all I think. I don't look at a piece of cake and think I want to eat that piece of cake because it's delicious. I think I can't eat that piece of cake because it's this many calories, it's this much fat. I can't control myself. I'm not going to be able to, control myself around this, so I'm not going to eat it. And then that turns into, well, I really, really, really want this cake. Why don't I have self-control? And it's just this cycle of emotions and thoughts. And I have noticed that thinking negative thoughts obviously does not help. It just sends me back into these wave of emotions, and it just makes me want it more, and it does not go away. And that has been one thing that has always bothered me is, people saying, if you have a craving, walk away for 20 minutes, do this for 20 minutes. I will literally think of it all day. I will think of that cake all week. And that thought just does not go away. And it has just gotten to the point where, for me, I feel like positive thinking just doesn't help anymore. I can sit there and tell myself all day that I'm worthy and that I'm happy and that I'm so, thankful that I have good food to eat, and I am, but those thoughts don't make the cravings and the, those compulsive thoughts of food and wishes go away. It just doesn't. And obviously thinking negative thoughts is what pushes me into those binges. I think I'm so ugly, I'm so disgusting. What's the difference? If I eat it, what's the difference? I'm not happy with myself anyways. And I end up binging. I end up eating it. And for the past 2 days, I have gone through this where, the first day, I was just so exhausted. I was so tired of breaking down by 9 o'clock every morning just because I was still hungry and I wouldn't allow myself to eat over 500 calories a meal. And that day I had just given up on all food rules, and I didn't care anymore. And I was eating the things that I wanted to, and I know that I ate a lot of food that day. But I went to bed and I was happy because I ate all the foods that day that I had been craving, and I felt good. And then the next day I woke up and the first thing that came into my head was, you already did it one day, why not do it again? You want to lose those food rules, this is how you're going to do it. And the next day I ended up doing the same thing again, but then it turned into overeating on the foods that I don't restrict myself from, that I eat every day. But it was just because I restrict myself so much while eating those foods that I felt like I needed more and I needed more, and it got to the point where I was so disgusted with myself, and I went to work out and I was so full that I felt like I felt so nauseous, but I felt like I needed to work out anyways. It's just this vicious cycle of thoughts. It's these conditioned thoughts in my head that just don't go away, and it's so frustrating. And when I came across this video, it just really made me think. At first it kind of made me mad, like, you know, how is it so easy for somebody to just have these, you know, how can they think it's so easy for somebody to just think so rationally? But the more I listened to it, the more that it made a lot of sense. And the more that it started to resonate with me when it came to my recovery. There was a point in my recovery where I was doing really well, and I had a really good relationship with food. But at the time, I had a job where I was working about 60 hours a week, so I did not have a lot of time to think about food. I did not have a lot of time to, you know, in that certain job, it was just so, like, go, go, go. But, you know, the thoughts never left, but my relationship with food was better. And I've read through all my old journals, I've read through all my old planners, everything, to help me understand how I got there and what I did to get there. It was not giving up on those food rules. It was not giving up on nourishing my body. But it was giving up on me being a bad person. And that was my main motive, was because I saw how much food had turned me into this person that I didn't like. This person that pushed everybody out because nobody had the same beliefs as me. This person that would much rather be by herself and eat healthy food than be out with a group of friends eating pizza, because that's what I thought was good for me. I never gave up on my goal to be fit or to be active, which was what I thought I had to do. And lately, that's all I've been telling myself that I have to do, is, you know, give up on wanting to look a certain way. Give up on wanting to be a certain way, because that's what's going to bring you food freedom. But it's not. I promise. Because if that is what drives you, if that is what your goal is, it's not going to happen. It has to take something from the inside to push you to that. Just like it took something from the inside to push you into your eating disorder, it's going to take something from the inside to push you out of it. You have to want to be a better person for another reason other than what you look like. I was so tired of dreading girls' nights with the women that I love more than anything, to sit at home alone eating a veggie roll and a Halo Top ice cream. And in all honesty, they never had a problem with me doing that in the first place. But it was that push to be a different person, a better person, that pushed me out of that mindset of food is everything, of health is everything, because at that moment, I did not even want to be alive, and I don't know how that's healthy. Because the depression and the anxiety and the stress has done so much more to my body than eating bad food ever could. So when it comes to rational thinking, sometimes you just have to put the positive aside, and of course the negative, and you just have to think, is this making me a good person? I don't care about if this is raising my blood sugar at the moment. I don't care if this has too many carbs or if this is whatever. What I'm doing, are these thoughts, these constant thoughts going through my head, are these making me lash out at my family because I feel so much anxiety? Or it's just one piece of cake? okay, because that means I get to be around my family. And I know that neutral thinking could mean a lot to other people, you know, in serious situations, like I said, whether it's, you know, if it's a life or death situation, you can't sit there and think, you know, everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be great, everything, you know, everything's gonna be fine if something really traumatic is happening. And obviously the negative thoughts don't help, like I keep saying, but we just all have to take that neutral thinking and shape it into our own tool, shape it into something we can resonate with and we can use. And that is, at the moment, the way that I'm using it. I am very thankful for Ed Milet for making this video and sharing this video, because his videos are amazing and people need to hear them. But they could also save someone's life by just the way somebody perceives them. I know that this is a very emotional video and I'm sorry, but sometimes life can be hard. Sometimes it's not easy or not rational to be so positive about everything. But sometimes you just have to take those necessary steps. You have to look at life straight on and you have to think, is this helping me? What is this doing to me? Why am I doing this? You know, think rationally, because, you know, the positive and the negative thinking, it's not always gonna help. Sorry that this was a very emotional video, but it's just something that I've had to get off my chest. And like I say, I make these videos because I know there's somebody out there who needs to hear this. I know that there are people struggling who need this in their lives. But if you guys have any questions, if you guys are, you know, trying to seek help, or you think that, you know that things are not right with your eating, if you have a bad relationship with food, please come to me. I will help you find every necessary resource needed to help you get through your recovery. I love you guys so much, and I thank you guys for all of your support. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.